Hare Krishna, Kiran Mataji, Tantat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Good to see you. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining our call here today. We will get started momentarily after we offer these prayers to the special masters. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnāna-anjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Ji Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Namami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Gur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so thank you so much for joining the call here, dear devotees, on a Friday evening. And which verse from Bhagavad Gita should we be doing?
7.3, Mataji.
7.3, correct, for 500 points, both of you. And we shall get going by looking at the verse itself in the first place. So, where are we on the verse? I'm going to start sharing with you. And then pranam to those of you who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Coming up, 7.3. So, chapter 7 is known as... what's the
Knowledge of the Absolute.
Knowledge of the Absolute. Correct, right? And then, so in the beginning of the chapter, Krishna has said that what had Krishna focused on in the verse number 1 was that you should hear. He's saying, okay, Partha, son of Pritha, now you just hear that how you have to practice yoga in full consciousness of Krishna conscious yoga, right? And then how you're going to know him. So this is about knowledge, how you're going to know him. And then, so he said that you have to do it. And then I shall now declare to you in full the knowledge. So I'm going to tell you what exactly is knowledge. Okay? And then out of the many thousands of men, now this is the one that we're going to do over here. Okay. So here in chapter number 6, we were talking about yoga, focusing the mind and focusing on the tip of the nose and blah, 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 like that, right? But in the end of chapter number 6, Krishna had said, Saddhavan bhajte yomam. Same yuktatama yoginam api sarvetam matkatenantar atmatam. Right? So of all the yogis, those who focus on me, right? And with Shraddha, with faith, they are the best ones here. Okay? And here he opens chapter number 7 by saying that with your mind attached to me. So attachment is known as asakti. So Krishna has taken a jump of, a jump in the devotional progress by saying that from Shraddha, that you worship me or you focus on me with Shraddha, to now with asakti, like with a very strong attachment to him. And then, so this was a jump. And how do you do this jump? The first is that you have to know what? You have to know this knowledge. Okay? And then here he's going to tell us like who are the ones who do it. Okay, so that's verse number 3 from chapter 7. So I think most of you know this verse already.
Yeah.
Manuṣyāṇāṁ sahasreṣu kaścit yatati siddhaye yatatām api siddhānām kaścin mam vetti tattvataḥ. Right. So those of you who understand the Hindi script, I just wanted to highlight this particular point, and that is that this is a sa. This is a sa over here, and I'm just trying to bring my mouse here, which is eluding me. Okay, yeah. So this is the letter sa, and then this line that you see, this diagonal line, is the ra. So it is sahasra, and then there is a matra or a vowel on the top. So a, so it becomes sahasreṣu, right? Sahasreṣu. Sometimes people look at this and say, this is a ta. This is not a ta. It is not sahasreṣu. It is sahasreṣu. Sahasra is, what is sahasra?
Number of many thousands.
Many thousand. Okay. So let's make it a little bit smaller so that we can know. And so, manuṣyāṇāṁ sahasreṣu kaścit yatati siddhaye. Manuṣyāṇāṁ, of men or human beings. Sahasreṣu, out of many thousands. Kaścit, someone. Yatati, endeavors. Yatna karna, endeavors. Siddhaye, siddhi is perfection, so for perfection. Yatatām, of those who are endeavoring. So yatati is endeavor, and those who are endeavoring are yatatām. Api, indeed. Siddhānāṁ, of those who have achieved perfection. Kaścit, someone. Mam, me. Vetti, to know. Tattvataḥ, in fact. So translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So let's go back and touch this verse a little bit more here. So what is thousands?
Sahasreṣu.
Sahasreṣu.
Sahas?
Sahasreṣu.
Sahasreṣu.
Not reshu. There is no ta.
Sahasreṣu.
There is no ta there, Vaishana Mataji. That's what
Sahasreṣu.
Sahasreṣu.
Sahasreṣu, right? It is sahas and reshu. Sahas and reshu. There's no t there at all, right? That's what I was pointing out here.
Yes.
So no, sahasreṣu. A lot of people are taught wrong. One of my teachers used to say sahasreṣu, what to talk about students doing it, right? So sahasreṣu is not sahasreṣu, sahasreṣu. So, okay. And then somebody who is, some people who are endeavoring, what are you going to call them?
Yatati.
Yatati.
Some people who are endeavoring?
Yatatām.
Yatatām.
Right? Yeah, yatati is endeavor. Okay, to endeavor. All right. And then if somebody, a lot of people have achieved perfections.
Siddhānāṁ.
Now remember, there can be two types of siddhis. There can be material siddhi and there can also be spiritual siddhi. Right? So material, give me some example of some material siddhis that you can achieve.
Academic, professional.
Say that again.
Academic.
Academic perfections. Yeah, but give me some specific examples of how a person can become perfect in material life. Some famous perfect people in material life.
Like Amitabh Bachchan.
Amitabh Bachchan is perfect in which aspect? I have to ask this question.
Acting, that's all you can.
So many things he has.
Yeah, for acting, right? So you might say his acting is perfect. So he's siddh in acting. Okay. What else do you see people perfecting in?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs was perfect at what?
Phones.
See that again? He was famous for what?
For iPhone.
Okay, for creating. So he was a creator, right? Engineer. Okay, designer. So he had perfected that art. Okay. Who else? Give me some more examples other than
some of the Nobel Prize winners for physics, chemistry, and all other
they
fields.
perfected the learning. All right. what are the material perfections? I was expecting a little bit more, still Shastra-related examples of material perfection.
Prabhupada.
Of course, Prabhupada's perfection is transcendental.
Oh.
Something more on the material level, famous from the Shastra. Because what are the type? Tell me what are the. This is interesting. Tell me what are the types of material perfections from the Shastric side. From Shastras, what do we say are some of the perfections that a human being can get?
Like Vyasadeva, he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Sorry?
Duryodhan.
Duryodhan had what siddhis?
Means he was bent on, he perfected that he want to defeat the Pandavas.
And was he perfect?
No.
No.
Yeah, so maybe he was perfect in the art of mace, Malayuth, right? He was perfect in that, but not perfect in defeating them, right? So he had that perfection or siddhi.
Madhani, Raman was highly qualified, but that qualification he had, but he was not perfect in fighting with Lord Shri Rama.
Yes. Yes.
Mataji, Hanumanji is about
Thank you. I was waiting for that answer. Okay. Tell me. Hanumanji, what siddhis did he have?
Strength.
He could fly and get everything for the Lord.
Okay. And did he have any more siddhis?
He could meditate on Shri Rama all the time.
He could remember. Is that a material siddhi?
No, that's not a material siddhi.
Mataji,
Material
he can
siddhi.
change his body.
Change his body to what? You're almost there.
Like big when he wants to be big, big, or one he wants to be small.
Right. So, but smaller than the smallest, you can become smaller than the smallest, right? And that siddhi is called Anima siddhi, right? Ani. So that is what Hanuman had, right? So when you have material siddhis, you can utilize them in the service of the Lord. You know, you can do that. I mean, even if you're a great actor, you can utilize your things in the service of the Lord, like Hema Malini does, right? She's a great dancer, but she has, she does Kṛṣṇa dances, goes to temple and dances, among other things. So people can utilize that. And it's good that you're bringing these examples here, because we'll talk a little bit more about these examples later as we come. And so, yes, so one was Hanuman could become smaller than the smallest. Could Hanuman also become bigger than the biggest?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
yes.
Right. So so he became bigger than the bigger. And by becoming bigger than the bigger, what did he do? What did he achieve? What service did he do by becoming bigger than the biggest?
He brought a mountain for Lakshmana.
So when he brought things for Lakshmana, did he have to become bigger than the biggest or something else? How did he go? How did he go to the Himalayas?
He flew.
He flew.
Yeah, he didn't take Air India or Indigo flight, right? Indigo 7E, right? He flew. So he was able to become light, and he had the siddhi of being able to fly. Okay. How did he use his siddhi of Laghima to become big? Bigger than the biggest. How did he use that? Huh?
Taking Lord Sri Ram.
When he was in the assembly of Duryodhana.
Duryodhana?
No, the assembly of Raman, when he was there, and that time he made himself so big, and when he burnt his tail, he became so big, he went around everywhere and he burnt the Lanka.
Lanka, correct. That was one use of his big body. He had put this thing to use one more time prior to this.
Big body or small? Small, he became small when he went to meet
But the question is big body. Question is big body.
I don't remember nothing.
Huh?
He could take a leap on the ocean.
Correct. Jaladi lang gaye achraj nahi. Right? Prabhu Mutrika Mili. Right? So to get that. Okay. As soon as he got the ring from Lord Rama, this is a poem that says, as soon as he got it, he jumped. That's a hyperbole. But anyway, yeah. So these are mystic. These are opulences that you get. These are mystic opulences, right? So, but they are material opulences. So, Anima Siddhi is there, Laghima Siddhi is there, and then also there is Siddhi called as Prapti Siddhi. Prapti Siddhi is that you can go and get anything. Did Hanuman have that Siddhi? That he could go and get anything?
Yes.
Yes, he
And what was the
he
Siddhi?
got that Vishalakarani.
He brought what?
The big
Sanjeevani
mountain, the
booty.
Vishalakarani thing.
The Sanjeevani booty, right? So he brought the whole mountain. Okay. So that, yeah, but mountain is still here. It was in this planet, right? He went to the Himalayas. Anybody could have gone to Himalayas. Yeah? We could have taken a flight and we could brought it, right? So it's not a big thing. But Hanuman was able to go and get things.
He could go to the sun.
He could go to the sun. Right. That's another Siddhi, right? Which is known as Prapti Siddhi. Okay. So that you can go and get anything from anywhere and everywhere. There's known as Prapti Siddhi. So there's Anima, there's Laghima, right? And then you can also become heavier than the heaviest. Did he do that? Heavier than the heaviest?
Yes,
In Rama's.
but
Angad did that when he fixed his foot.
Yes.
Angad did that.
Yes. And nobody could move. So you become heavier than the heaviest. Right? Yeah. And then there is another siddhi by which it is Vashita Siddhi, that you can control people's minds, right? That we don't see Hanuman presenting.
No.
Like that, right? Yeah. And Kamashayata, there is a Kamashayata means that you can change your shape from one shape into another shape. Now in Ramayana, there is an example of that you can change into any shape that you like, according to your desire.
Putna, she became a beautiful girl.
She became a beautiful girl, but that's not Ramayana. But that's a good example. So you have to listen to the question carefully to get your marks. Yeah. In Ramayana, who had that?
Ravan himself changed into us when he came to see get Sita. He changed his form.
Did he change his form or did he change his dress?
Oh, dress, yeah. But he became, he changed.
Who changed the form? Very famous.
Shurpanakha.
Shurpanakha.
The guru, he became the deer.
Yes, Marichi.
Oh, Marichi. Yeah.
That's a more stark example, right? Stark example of that. Right. So these are all material gains that you can get in life. Okay.
Mataji, so those the singers who only sings only bhajan and go to only the dham, so they are material, like material siddhi. Like you just mentioned that Hema Malini dancing, go to the temple and dance over there. So like that.
Good question. It is a siddhi of the material body which you are utilizing in the service of the Lord. And the more you utilize your senses in the service of the Lord, your senses get spiritualized. So the throat gets spiritualized. But again, remember, there can be contamination. So if you are dabbling in other things as well, in addition to devotional service, then it's not pure devotional service. Right? Pure devotional service. Anyabhlatita shunyam, jnana karmadhyana vittam, anukulyana krishnanu, shelanam, bhakti ruchyate. Right? So it be completely devoid of any desire. If the person doesn't have any other desires. But if you have other desire, I'm going to stand for MP, member of parliament. If you have other desires like that, then it is like that, right? But what I'm saying is that there are choices. Some people just don't utilize it in the service of the Lord at all. They just sing and they make the millions, and then they spend it, and they are completely spent by the time they reach the end of life.
Mataji, that means those who are making the videos and posting on the YouTube, so like that is for the material gain, so they are making a lot of money, but they are spreading spreading Kṛṣṇa to all over the places.
Yes. Again, Bhavgrahi Janardana will know why they are doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, but the good thing about devotional service is that, even if you do it by accident, it will have its effect. If you drink medicine by mistake, not knowing that you have fever, not knowing that this is medicine or fever, you drink it, will it have its effect?
Yes.
It'll have its effect, right? And so similarly for devotional service, if you're doing these kind of activities, not unknowingly, but then you will still get a credit, but not as much as people who are doing it with full focus. So it's important to do with full focus. Devotional service with full focus, with full attention, full idea, right? Like that. Okay.
Lata
So
Mangeshkar also sang so many songs.
Who?
And the
Lata
same
Mangeshkar. Yeah.
many bands.
Yeah.
Lata Mangeshkar.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you look at her repertoire, there were not very many devotional songs, not very many compared to the others that she sang. Yeah. That she did sing. Yeah. So we don't have to talk about them. What I just wanted to mention was that there are perfection that you can get, and there is material perfection. For example, people who are magicians, they also have mystic powers. They can hypnotize people, right? So Vashita, they control your mind, but at least for a brief period of time. So there are a lot of material, perfections that you can get. And you can also make, like, for example, getting gold out of air. That's also a material perfection. Now, what are you using it for? If you're using gold, making gold out of air, and then donating it to a temple so that they can expand, then that's a good thing, right? But the problem is that gold is very intoxicating. And in Kali Yuga, sin lives in many places, and gold is one of them, right? Remember, read Srimad Bhagavatam in the beginning? Where Dharma is saying, where do I live? Live in gold. Right? In gambling, like that. So what I was saying was that there are perfections of different types that you can have. We talked about material perfections, and we also saw some examples of how material perfection can be used in the service of the Lord. Right? So many times we see that there's a magician and you tie his hand and feet and you put him into a box and you lock the box and you throw the box into the ocean and he comes out. Anima, smaller than the smallest, and you come out of the keyhole and then you become big, like that, right? So people have got material perfections, but the thing is that, when you die, and the perfection is gone, right? So if you have any material perfection, you should use it in the service of the Lord, as Hanuman was doing, right? Well, in the beginning, he was not doing it. When he went to eat the sun, he was certainly not doing it out of devotional service, right? He was just hungry, he wanted to eat, thought it was a fruit, and then went there,
yeah.
right? Like that. He thought he was on an apple. So let's see what Prabhupada has to tell us in the translation for this verse. Out of many thousands among men. What is the Sanskrit for thousands?
Sahasreṣu.
Sahasreṣu. Right. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization to try to know what is self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. Generally, mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. And hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the superself, and the process of realization by jñāna-yoga, dhyāna-yoga, and discrimination of the self from matter, Sankhya-yoga. However, Kṛṣṇa can be known only by persons who are in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman realization, jñānis, for this is easier than understanding Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Person, but at the same time, he is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramātmā. The yogis and jñānis are confused in their attempts to understand Kṛṣṇa. Although the greatest of the impersonalists, Śrīpāda Śaṅkarācārya, has admitted in his Gītā commentary that Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Mudhamate is from Śrīpāda Śaṅkarācārya, right? So he's saying Bhaj Govindam, but his followers do not accept Kṛṣṇa as such, for it is very difficult to follow Kṛṣṇa, to know Kṛṣṇa, even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman. And this is such an important thing that emphasizes the importance of disciplic succession and what disciplic succession actually means, right? So when Srila Prabhupada lists the disciplic succession in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 30 or page 30 or 31 of the Bhagavad Gita book, it starts, the lineage starts from Brahma speaking it, from Kṛṣṇa speaking it to Brahma, Brahma to Narad, the Bhagavad Gita, like that, right? So he talks about that lineage. And one of the rules of that lineage is that the disciple is going to present whatever was presented by the spiritual master in exact same form as it is, without any,
Additional.
Not additional, without any, additional manipulations or additional corrections on top of that, right? So that's what they are supposed to do. But look here in this case, right? They're saying that Shankaracharya has admitted, your spiritual master is admitting, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Mudhamate. But I am his disciple and I'm saying, well, I won't do that. I mean, I have been talking to people from Sampradaya who follow the Srimad Bhagavatam, and their spiritual master is telling them that you read from Bhagavatam, this chapter, don't read that chapter, read this chapter, don't read those chapters, don't read that. That is not the way Shastras are read. You have to read the whole Shastra and accept and have faith in the whole Shastra and not pick things here and there. Because if you're saying you are going to edit the Shastra, you are better than Yasadeva, that you're able to do that, right? But this is followers, they're lazy. But why? Because it's difficult to know Kṛṣṇa as compared to going up to the impersonal realization of the Lord. That's much easier. So you take the easy route. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, elsewhere we do learn that people are mandasumanda matayo madbhagya upadita. It says that people are, they will not have spiritual intelligence in Kali Yuga, that they want to go to and reach out to Kṛṣṇa. Okay, this is the easy path, let's take to effulgence and let's take to formless form of Kṛṣṇa, and that's good, I'll just do it. We're lazy in devotional service. So Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. Can you give me a verse to support that?
Ishvara Param Kṛṣṇa Satchitanand Vigraha.
Okay.
Anadir
Govinda Sarvakaran Karanam.
Sarvakarana Karanam. Okay, and from which Shastra is that?
What?
From which Shastra? Which book is that?
Brahma Samhita 5.1.
Brahma Samhita 5.1. Correct, right? Any other verse that you'd like to support that he's the cause of all causes, that everything comes from him? Anybody doing Chad?
Chapter 10.
It starts with Aham.
Aham Sarvasya Prabhava.
Yes, correct, for 500 points.
Varshana Mataji's favorite verse.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Right? So, Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the primeval Lord Govinda, Ishvara, Parama, Kṛṣṇa, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir, Adir Govinda, Sarvakarana Karanam, as you mentioned from Brahma Samhita. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. If the path of bhakti is so easy as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? I mean, I really love the way Prabhupada argues. Right? Or you think, oh, that's an easy path. Why don't you take the easy path? Right? Simple, a simple thing. If the path of bhakti is so easy as the non-devotee class of men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy. It is simple, but not easy. The so-called path of bhakti practiced by unauthorized persons without the knowledge of bhakti may be easy, but when it is practiced factually according to the rules and regulations, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. Right? It's such an interesting thing. A simple example of an example of a simple thing to do, right? Can you take your hand and touch your nose?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I tell you to do this over and over again, the whole day, this simple thing, will it remain easy? The whole day, whole night?
No.
No.
Right?
Mataji.
Similarly, they might just say that, oh, you just take a aarti plate and you just, do it in front of the Lord. And that's it, you are done, you're done yati. It's just easy. Look at me, I'm raking my brains, I'm reading the shastras, I'm trying to analyze and all that stuff. Right? They might say, oh, the person, the pujari, does just an easy job. Yeah, but are you willing to get up at 4 o'clock and do that? And then again at 7, then again at 12 sharp, and then again in the evening, and then at night. Then it is like, oh, yeah, it was simple, but it was not easy. So you have to remember. So Srila Rupa Goswami says, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Ekantiki Hare Bhaktir Utpatyeva Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in the society. Utpat, right? Disturbance in the society. That's all that this is. It is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda or the charioteer of Arjuna. Why? Why is it not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Kṛṣṇa as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and as the son of Mother Yashoda or as the charioteer of Arjuna? Why do you think he is saying that it is not possible for two types of people, Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogis?
Because they don't believe in the form of Kṛṣṇa.
They don't believe
that he has a form, shape.
So, but then what about the Paramatma yogis? They do believe in the form. Right? He's talking here about two types of people. One who are impersonalists and other who are the yogis, right? So why are they not able to understand Kṛṣṇa as, and what were the two examples that they gave of two examples of Kṛṣṇa? What was it?
The
son of Mother Yashoda.
Can't understand son of Mother Yashoda. And what was the other one?
Charioteer of Arjuna.
Arjuna, yeah. So now from these examples, tell me why do they not, why is a yogi not able to understand Kṛṣṇa?
Because they don't have a tinge of devotional service. They don't understand the service.
They understand service. They do service. They do devotional service.
Because they may think Kṛṣṇa is a human being only.
No, they don't think Kṛṣṇa is a human being. They think very much as a super soul, as a Paramatma. They do that. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Focus on the two examples that they are giving where they don't, which they don't understand. Focus on those examples and you'll get the answer. What are those two examples?
The son of Mother Yashoda and charioteer of Arjuna.
Yeah. So why? Bewildering. What is Yashoda doing? In the when Yashoda when Kṛṣṇa is the son of Yashoda, what are some of the things that Yashoda does with Kṛṣṇa?
He ties
him.
Ties his hands, right? Okay.
So they don't believe he's the cause of all causes. They believe he came from a mother or is just a simple friend, but they don't believe he's the cause of all causes.
Yeah, no, I was saying that why are they not able to understand that relationship, that Krishna can become the son of Yashoda and be beaten by her, right? Or that he can go and take a lowly position of a charioteer driver for Arjuna, right? And the reason for that is that when you are doing Paramatma, right? Paramatma is Vishnu, and that is the awe-inspiring form
And
of
reverence.
yes, awe and reverence. And Yashoda is not showing any reverence. This is Mera Lala hai, my son. I'm going to beat him, right? Like that. And then Krishna being charioteer, how can you make, when in the war, there is so much of noise going on, right? What are some of the noises that happened in the war in those days, right? There were bugles and drums that people would beat, right? To encourage. Then there were horses, elephants, they're all going to neigh and trumpet, okay? And then there'll be a noise of people who are falling down. If they're hit by a sword, they'll cheek, right? And then they will fall down. So there's a lot of, and then there are chariots that are running. So there's a lot of noise in the battlefield. And so if I'm a warrior on a chariot, and I have to give indications to my chariot driver that you turn left and you turn right. If I say, please turn right, please turn left, or I say right or left, even if I say right, left, he will not hear because of so much of noise which is around. So what do? They take their foot and they will press it on the back of the chariot driver. When he pushes on the right side, it means turn right, turn left. So they have this kicking, whole kicking vocabulary and a kicking language.
Oh
so imagine kicking Krishna, the Lord. They cannot appreciate that, right? So while the first category that only believes in the effulgence of the Lord, they will not believe this at all because they think that, oh no, this is not what it is. Krishna doesn't have a form, it's something else, right? And then for the other ones, the other category, the yogis who are concentrating on the Paramatma feature of the Lord, the relationship that they have is awe and reverence. They don't have Vatsalya Rasa or Sakhya Bhav, right? As Krishna, even, when Krishna goes into awe, right? In which chapter does Krishna go into awe of Krishna? In which chapter of Bhagavad Gita? And after what incident? What happens that Arjuna is suddenly in awe of Krishna?
Universal form.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so when he sees the universal form of Krishna, and then what does he immediately start to say? He says, I'm sorry, I treated you as a friend. Like a friend, I was lying on the same bed, I was laughing with you, joking with you, eating with you, I'm so sorry. Sort of, he's conveying that sentiment in there, right? So they will not be able to do it. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is explaining in this verse there, that they cannot appreciate. So here in prayers of Queen Kunti, also Kunti saying, my dear Krishna, Yashoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes flooded with tears which washed the mascara from your eyes, and you were afraid. Though fear personified is afraid of you, this sight is very bewildering. Even Kunti sometimes, is bewildered. That, how can you do that? How can you get into that relationship with a devotee, right? That you seem that you are bewildered by you're afraid of Yashoda, like that. But Krishna is relishing that bhava there, right? So continuing on with the purport, even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. I mean, of course, Kunti was confused. We saw Muhyanti yat suryaha. So in the very beginning of the very first of Srimad Bhagavatam says that Muhyanti yat surayaha. Surayaha means that those who are demigods. Muhyanti means that they are confused and they are Mam tu vedana kaśana, right? Lord also says that no one knows me as I am. And the Lord says, and if one does know him, such a Mahatma is sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare, right? So what he's saying
That
here
is in another verse of this chapter, Mataji, I think. Bahunam janmanamante, right?
Yeah. So here what he's saying is manuṣyāṇāṁ sahasreṣu kaścit yatati siddhaye yatatām api siddhānām kaścin mam vetti tattvataḥ. So you have to understand the degree of separation, how many degrees are there. So he's saying that if you take 1,000 people, then out of that manuṣyāṇāṁ kaścit yatati siddhaye. So what is he saying? may endeavor for perfection. So you go and preach to 1,000 people, you'll be very lucky if one starts to endeavor for perfection, right? Then you take all these people, right? You take 1,000 such people who are endeavoring for perfection. Then out of that 1,000 people, only one will know me. So 1,000 into 1,000 becomes 1,000,000.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how difficult it is. Okay, there. And so it is a difficult thing. It is something that is very rarely achieved. So what is the good news? That you are all among the 1,000. Right? You're endeavoring to know Kṛṣṇa. Right? So don't feel or don't think that you're in the minority. And that is bad. You are doing the right thing. Okay? Yeah. Next time, remember that. So, continuing going over here, Samhatma Shudurlabha. So he's saying that such a person is very difficult to find here. Okay, I lost my place here. Narapan Shraddha. Okay. Muhyanti Yatsurya. Such a great soul is very rare. So we are the rare things. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Kṛṣṇa as he is tattvataḥ. He is the real truth. Even though one is a great scholar or philosopher. You could be a great scholar. So unless bhakti is there, you won't be able to understand Kṛṣṇa. Only the pure devotee can know something of the inconceivable transcendental qualities in Kṛṣṇa. His being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence and opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Because, why do you know that? Because Kṛṣṇa is benevolently inclined to his devotees. He is the last word in Brahman realization, and the devotees alone can realize him as he is. Therefore, it is said, Athak Shri Kṛṣṇa Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriye sevon mukhoy hi jivhadau swayam eva spuratyada. So he says that Athak Shri Kṛṣṇa Namadi, like Krishna's name, paraphernalia, etc., etc., etc. Adi means etc. Na bhaved grahyam indriye. From your material senses, you cannot understand, right? No one can understand Kṛṣṇa as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotee, swayam ev svratyata, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service to him, starting with using the tongue in the service of the Lord. Right? So that was the purport by Srila Prabhupada. And so let's take some reflections here. Any thoughts, any things that struck your mind from what we have talked so far now?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, the second line, Sevon Mukhi Jivade, Swayam Eva.
Yeah.
For the other. So can you explain this, Mataji? Sevon Mukhi Jivade.
Sevon Mukho, right? Athashi Kṛṣṇa Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriye. Right? So first thing is that you cannot understand Kṛṣṇa by your senses. Like that's the first two lines. Then how do you know it? Right? By your blunt senses. How do you know him? You will know him when you become sevon mukha, when you get inclined to seva. Right? Seva mukha, right? So you are turning your face and now you want to do service to Kṛṣṇa. Earlier, there was no concept of service to Kṛṣṇa. Earlier, I was trying to rake my brains and use my senses, right? To understand Kṛṣṇa by using my intellect. But now I have given that up. Now I'm saying, okay, seva mukh, let me do some seva, which basically means that instead of sitting at the home and trying to read the books, and more books and more books and more books, I decided, okay, yeah, fine. I've done my chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I've done a little bit of my reading. I've chanted prayers of Queen Kunti. Let me now go to the temple and wash some dishes. Or let me sweep the floor of the temple, which is Krishna's home. That is sevan mukh. When you are turning your face towards doing some seva. Sevan mukho hi jivhadau. So how do you start the seva of Kṛṣṇa? Adau. Adau means in the beginning. How will you start? From the jivha. From your tongue. Right? So how can you start service of Krishna from the tongue? First is by honoring his prasadam. That's the good part of bhakti. And the second is by
chanting
his holy names, glorifying him, telling others about him. So sevhanako hi jivhado. So first, because there are so many senses, right? He said, Athashi Krishna namadi na bhave grahim indriyas. He says that you cannot understand Krishna through your senses. Now he's starting with the most voracious of the senses, the tongue. He's saying you start to utilize that most difficult of your senses first in the service of the Lord by chanting his glories and also honoring prasadam. Then what's going to happen is that swam ev spuratya, by itself it will manifest. So Krishna will manifest by itself. By himself he will become, manifest to you. Swam ev spuratya means to manifest. Spuratya and antardhan. Antardhan is the opposite of spuratya. Spuratya is manifest. Antardhan is unmanifest. Are you cool with that, Kṛṣṇa? I don't think you so much agitated. Still some doubt is lurking in your head, is it?
No, Mataji. I understood what you said.
You understood that?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Okay, you want to try to explain it?
No, Mataji, I'll have to go through once again and then only I'll be able to explain it.
Okay, so then next week you can explain it to us. Take it as a homework.
I'll try, yes.
Okay?
I'll try
that.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Homework.
All right. Good. Very good. More reflections? More reflections, more thoughts that come from here to you? Any thoughts that come to you when you say manuṣyāṇāṁ sahasreṣu?
Yeah.
Kaścid,
The good
yatati,
news,
siddhaye.
the very good consolation that we are also one of those many thousands who are endeavoring, not for perfection, you can say, just to know Krishna, just to have some love with him, to make a relationship with him. We are trying.
You're trying, yes. And
if
I would like to
Krishna finds some sincerity in that, maybe he will help us. He will send some representative in the form of Guru to help us.
Good, that's very good. And I would tweak your answer just a little bit here. Like you said, we are not aiming for perfection, but we are aiming to know Krishna and to serve Krishna. And knowing Krishna is the perfection of life.
Okay.
Right? Knowing Krishna is the perfection. Right? And the second you said that if I have sincerity, maybe he will. If I have sincerity, he will. That's Shraddha. That's where there's no maybe. That's a guarantee. He gives guarantees. Like, Kaunteya prati janehi name bhaktya pranashyati. My devotee never perishes, right? And he's partial.
You can see the beginner's spirit in me. The beginners.
It's good. It's good to always have the beginner spirit, because then when you have the beginner spirit, your mind will be open to everything, to know more, to do more. And when people come and criticize us, then to able to accept it. The moment you raise ourselves to a pedestal, it's very difficult to understand. And things like that, right?
It's very hard to know Krishna. Is Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Asasosriya Jnana-vairagya-chaiva Sannam Bhagaitingana. He has all 6 opulences. Those are strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, and beauty, and renunciation. So all those things from Krishna, knowing him, all these, we have like his strength, when he went to the Kurukshetra war towards Pandava's side, how much strength he has given to them. That Kauravas didn't understand that. When he wanted to go, which side you want? You want me or my what is that? Army. But they chose the army only, Kauravas. They didn't know his strength. So it's if Kauravas didn't know long time, like 5,000 years ago, how will we know, Mataji? It's very hard.
Number one. Okay, I will. Number one, and I'll come to you, Sylvie Govinda Mataji. I do see your raised hand, and that helps. How will I know? The Bhakta doesn't care. Bhakta is only interested in doing service.
Yeah.
Service for service. He does service for service, and he will get the gyan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I'm listening to Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita more and more, then I'm just knowing him.
In that way. Yeah.
That's why I sit morning 6:50. I sit in the class, Bhagavatam class.
The one on the left.
And afternoon we have the Kṛṣṇa book reading or something. Today we had Kṛṣṇa book reading. I sit in that class. Night I'm sitting in this class. So just, for me, I don't have my mind, like Mataji says, I don't know that much. But because I am going through these classes, I am listening to this, I am knowing him. Oh, how powerful he is, how helpful he is, how loving he is. So those are all the things with Kṛṣṇa. He has a lot of things to know.
Yes. And then can anybody give me a verse in support of what happens when people listen to Krishna Katha?
What happens to? We will become more and more knowing him, how to be in this material world.
This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam that I'm looking for. First
I'm
canto,
not body.
chapter.
I'm not body.
So Darpana Marjana.
10 point.
First
Darpana
canto,
Marjana.
Chetu Darpana is Chatara Charitamrita. But yes, it does do that. Yeah. But Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, verse number 17. Shrunvatam swakatam
Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah.
Punya Kirtana.
What happens after you do Punya Shravana Kirtana? What happens?
Punya.
What happens after that? Punya Shravana Kirtana. So that you're listening, but then what happens after that? Next two lines. Hida antasto hiya bhatrani vidhunoti sruhitsatam. Right? So what it does is that it'll remove the layers of material, whatnot nonsense that we have in our hearts. And then that is how Krishna will get revealed to us. That's the only thing. Our material entanglement is the only thing that is removed, that is keeping us away from Krishna.
That's
right. And if you remember a few weeks ago, I had said that our entanglement in material nature, material world, is not because of the entanglement, and our misery is there because we are separated. And entanglement happens because we separate ourselves from Krishna, so you get entangled there. If you get entangled with Krishna, then it's a different story there. Okay, Survi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Actually, I was on an earlier question, but now I have another question based on what you just said. Okay. Because Maharaj gave a lecture for Janmashtami and he used the word vidunoti as well. And that was, and so when you describe somebody who has this all the dust is cleared, they are really in a very evolved state, right? And they have the vidunoti because they're the people, they're the acharyas and the gurus that cross the ocean but do not take the boat with them. But what they do is leave the hoofprint of the material ocean so we can cross over, right? So what you're describing is a very evolved state, and with this verse, correct?
Yes, and the vidunoti is in the verse that I mentioned, right?
Yes. That's why so it was in the verse that he gave as well.
And it's the dhunna. Yes, it's the cleansing, and which is the cleansing is the main purpose, as you point out, is the key is to cleansing, and that's what some of you mentioned, cheto darpana marjana, right? The cleansing of the mind. How is the mind cleansed? It's cleansed when it vibrates. When Krishna Katha goes and vibrates in your mind, then the dust of material attachment gets dropped. Yeah.
And that's from the Krishna in the heart, right? The Superself is the active principle that is doing the cleansing.
Doing the cleansing.
And giving the gyan as well. Okay.
Yeah. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam. Right? So he gives it, and there he says that I, as the super soul seated in everyone's heart, give them the intelligence so that they can come to me. So it will come.
Yes. And so then the first question, it connects well, because when you described
but what was the first question?
Yeah, this was about when you were talking about the Vishnu Bhaktas, you know, and they looked at God as in awe and sort of have, and then they seem to get blocked there because they can't see they can't see further because there's still the dust covering them. So the question was, did you say that they already were studying who Kṛṣṇa is, doing service and also chanting, or they're not?
They will chant, but they will chant Vishnu's name.
Oh, not our mantra, but
yeah. So yanti deva vrta deva pitrin yanti prativata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti majyaji no pimam. So Kṛṣṇa says, if you worship me, then you'll come to me. Otherwise, whoever that you worship, you'll go to their place.
Okay, so their drishti is not actually on Kṛṣṇa, although they think they're studying Kṛṣṇa, they're not studying Kṛṣṇa, they're studying Vishnu.
Vishnu, yes, because they focus, like if you have seen the Isha, not the Isha, the Science of Self-Life, or even the Isha Upanishad, you see Vishnu in the four-handed form, so they focus on the four-handed form in the heart, the yogis. Okay. Now a bhakta can also focus on Kṛṣṇa in the heart, because Kṛṣṇa is doing his pastime, but he focuses on Kṛṣṇa in his heart in the two-handed form. So whatever you are thinking about and wherever your focus is, right, at the time of your death, that's where you will go.
So how will they ever come to understand and clear the next level?
Will they ever? That's a good question.
Like what is because there's so many people I know who get stuck there. And it's very hard for them to see the simplicity of Kṛṣṇa. Like it's always hard to explain that part, right? To say, yes, but if you do this, you know, like, or put some, what seed can we plant in their heads to help them think about this next phase?
Yeah, you can take a man to water, you can't make him. You can take a horse to water, you can't make him drink. You can share words of wisdom, but you can't make people think, right? Now, this verse actually has got a lot of things for us as who preach, right? For preachers also, it's got a very strong message.
Oh, okay.
manuṣyāṇāṁ sahasreṣu kaścid yatati siddhaye. One. Yatatām api siddhānām kaścin māṁ vetti. Out of them, so million times removed. So if I preach to 1 million people and one gets to, starts asking a question and says, okay, I'm going to come to the temple, that's a big achievement.
Okay.
Right? So in our devotion, in our preaching practices, we know that they are there, but then they are there, right? And souls are wired, souls are built like that. Souls have got their own, relationship. They have their own swarup. And some souls like it. They like to be in awe and reverence with Kṛṣṇa. So they go to the Vaikuntha planets. And among the Vaikuntha planets, the highest, where you will see Vishnu. They will even get a form like Vishnu, four-handed form. But then beyond it, among the Vaikuntha planets, the highest planet is
Goloka.
Right? So then there the pastimes are happening. So those who have a relationship with Kṛṣṇa, those swarup of the soul has a different relationship in motherhood, a friend, and things like that. They will go there.
So they have to basically go back to Vaikuntha, then back down to the material level until
not necessarily, because once you have reached Vaikuntha, you don't have to go. So see, here's what happens. That sometimes we see in real life also, right? A man marries a woman, right? And we are looking at it and we are saying, oh, this man could have done better. Look at the man. He says, no, this is a perfect person for me. You get out of my life, right? So because that's the relationship they have. So we might feel that, oh, they are missing out on something, but they are not missing out, because that's what their nature is. They are not missing out on it, right? So if they're not missing out on it, they will stay there. But if their real swarup, if their real original relationship with Kṛṣṇa is the relationship with Kṛṣṇa in either one of the other rasas, which is Madhurya rasa or Vatsala rasa or Sakhya bhav, like that, then from Vaikuntha planets, they can still go up there. Yeah. So in the story of Gopa Kumar, Gopa Kumar goes like that. So that's there are people will look up with that. Yeah. So for us, the message from this particular verse here is that for those who are preaching is that you might, impress a lot of souls. A lot of souls will get impressed. They'll say, yeah, such a nice katha. Oh, we really enjoyed it. And they say, oh yeah, and we are chanting tomorrow morning at 6:30. Can you come? No, I have this place to go, that place to go. So the people can be there who are impressed by all this, but are they really inspired? Inspired to do it, right? But here they are giving you the statistics. That is how it happens in the material. Don't feel too bad of it. Don't feel too bad about that. Sutapa.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, sometimes the material entanglement, is it truly all the time should be like the birth, date, old age, and disease? Or it's like the material population we have just to get rid of the things and to this, and we should not have any desire. So what will be the most important?
This Chaturshloki Bhagavatam has a verse, Ritya Ritam Yat Prateta Na Prateta Chatmani. Basically, the essence of that verse is that and it explains very nicely what is Maya. What is this material world? And why is this material world wrong? Or which aspect or which angle of our entanglement with the material world is wrong? If you're entangled with the material world, if you are dabbling in the material world, right, for the satisfaction of our own senses, Atmandhya Priti, right, then it is wrong. But if you go back to the same material world and you are entangling in the material world for satisfying Krishna's senses, then it's perfect. So if you're focusing the whole day, you're running a business and you're earning millions of dollars because you want to build a temple, you have been working in the material world for 22 hours a day. But that is devotional service. Why? Because you're doing it for Krishna. Okay, so this is not about, in one of the verses it says, Falgu Vairagyam Kathyate. So he says, Mokshvi Parityago. So he says that, stuff that can be utilized in the service of God. And if you're just saying, I'm not going to use it, then that is Falgu. That's Vairagya. Hari Sambandhi Vastana. For example, do we not use a brass lamp to do puja for Krishna? Is it transcendental? Yes. Material, right? To buy that brass, did somebody just come and give it to you? Lamp? No, you had to work, do something, or your husband had to work, do something, right? And so, these things are from the material world. And as soon as you start utilizing them in the service of the Lord, they become tadiya. Things used in the service of the Lord become tadiya, and they become transcendental. So we should not give up the material energy. We should just give up our attachment to the material energy for the service on the sake of our own satisfaction. So that's Srimad Chaturshloki Bhagavatam says just that whatever you cannot utilize in the service of the Lord is Maya. This material world is not Maya. Like, for example, Prabhupada used a microphone, a dictaphone, to dictate his translations. If he would have said, I'm not going to touch it, this machinery, it's Maya, I'm just going to write with my fingers, you see, we would have never gotten the Srimad Bhagavatam in that place. He used technology. Look at Vaisheshika Prabhu. He uses all Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. What does he not use? Same thing can be used for bad purposes also on Facebook. Right? You see a lot of nonsense going on Facebook also. Right? Yeah. And the same thing can be used. So it's not about giving up anything. You don't have to give up anything. Whatever Krishna has given, as long as you say, Krishna has given me this, let me see how I can utilize it in the purpose of Allah. Like this Janmashtami, I had to go and change to somebody's house close by. And I was already tired, starved. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon when your fast is at its peak of giving you grief. And so I asked, there was a shuttle service going, and I asked somebody that, can you drop me to such and such a place? And this was happening after 4 years. And so that man recognized me and he said that I had dropped you 4 years ago. And I also want you to bring you back when it is done at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I also want to bring you back to the same place if you're staying there. So I was just thinking that he has a fantastic car. And he's using the car in the service of Krishna. So if I were to say like, oh, no, I don't want a car. No, this is against devotional service. Let me get into the car. Let me donate it somewhere else. I know, to somebody poor. No, you are utilizing it in the service of the Lord. Okay?
Yes,
Mataji.
Yeah, I remember in one of the purports, in one of the letters of Srila Prabhupada, and he says somebody asked him, why do you go on the car to preach? And then he says, I would have taken much longer time if I had walked. And now you see, if I have come in the car, I can preach and go to many more places and preach.
This is not Treta Yuga. This is not Treta Yuga. They used to walk miles.
Correct.
Yuga has changed a lot. And we're not living 400 years either.
Right. Our bodies are different.
Yeah.
Our bodies are different. So you have to live by the rules of the Yuga.
Yeah.
This is Kali Yuga. One word for Kali is also machinery. So this is Yuga for machinery. Like if I were to tell my grandmother that I use a washing machine to do that, you throw the clothes and they come out clean and dry, she will say, oh, this is magic. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, you don't do that. I wanted to share a little piece of good news with all of you.
Yes.
So that is that our dear Shraddha-devi Dasi Mataji, Shraddha-devi Dasi Mataji, is going to take second initiation this coming Sunday.
Yes.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
There you go. So we'll have one more round.
Mataji's help, I don't know what I can. Why I am so thinking nervous, Mataji, what Prabhu Guru Maharaj will ask me.
He'll ask you
how I can answer. I'm praying, Kṛṣṇa, give me strength, give me remembrance all the time. He gives remembrance and forgetfulness. I always do. Forgetfulness is the one I am having. I said, Kṛṣṇa, please give me remembrance, not forgetfulness.
You can ask him to give you forgetfulness so that you can forget the fear that you're having.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that. I can have that fear, I can live. But remembrance, whatever Guru Maharaj will ask me, I don't know on the spot what I can ask.
You should go and ask. Go and watch other second. You go and ask. Yeah, that's what I'm telling her. I've been telling her the whole week, but she's not listening.
But Mataji, he is not going to ask anything in the second initiation. Yeah.
But she's helping.
Mataji, you won't be asked.
That's what I'm saying, that you give up your fear.
I have no idea.
She's saying, I want to keep the fear. Well, keep the fear. Then 24 hours more to be afraid.
24 hours more. Tomorrow, my daughter says, now we'll start by afternoon and we'll stay there in the hotel.
Good.
And come there from there. That's what she says.
Tomorrow is the initiation?
Sunday.
No, day after tomorrow.
Sunday.
I have posted on.
Yeah, now I got everything. My daughter was yelling at me. She said, you know that when I answered, you know that you are in that group, you are there. That's what Mataji wants you to say. Say that Hare Kṛṣṇa. That's all. How come you didn't say? How come you called and bothered her? I don't know, something.
Anyway, that's fine. Yeah,
Kṛṣṇa I'll pray Kṛṣṇa. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Mataji, for all the help.
It is, yeah, so I just want you to know that some of the takeaways that you should have from this particular class is that, number one, we are among the rare people. We are among the rare. Devotional service is, simple but not easy. Right? So don't underestimate that it's going to be an easy part. It's a difficult part, but we have taken it, right? And then we have taken it and we are going to go and do extraordinary things, like getting up at 3:30 in the morning is an extraordinary thing. But for whom are we doing it? We are doing it for the extraordinary.
Yeah.
For Kṛṣṇa, right? So when somebody doesn't it happen in our own homes also? If a big shot comes to your home, then you will make some extra food and stylish.
We do extra
up and all that, right? Yes. Whereas if somebody, is coming, then you won't bother. So you always do extra for those who are at an elevated state. So what about the one who is the most extraordinary, right? So you'll do that. And and 1 in a million, what is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also remember that being 1 in a million is not an abnormality. It's not an abnormality. You're not abnormal. Because if all the creation, all the souls that God created is one, then 3/4 are still in the spiritual planets. 1/4 have fallen down. So the majority are spiritual. And then from here, we are with them. So we are really with the winning team. So don't feel. Go ahead, Mataji. You had a question, Kṛṣṇa Mataji?
Mataji, I need to leave. Thank you, Mataji.
Hey, Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranams. Was there a question, Kṛṣṇa Mataji, you were asking?
Mataji, I forgot. I'll ask you later.
Okay.
Ask Kṛṣṇa. Give him remembrance. I'm praying. And then from here, the Vishnu Kada Prabhu is coming. And then there is another person, Bob. He is also first time initiation. So he is coming. From here, a lot of people are coming, Mataji.
Yes. Nice.
A lot of people are coming.
I will post the information on our group also for those of you who want to watch our initiation and initiation of others. You can spend.
When will Guru Maharaj Ji back to California after this his tour on 3rd?
3rd. Yeah.
So this whole thing is in Potomac, is that right? Temple?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your ceremony will be in Potomac.
So he is not in California now.
Yes.
Guru Maharaj. My son is not there. I don't know whether I can come or not. California, Mataji.
Why
he
do you have
moved
to come to California when he's already there?
Austin, Texas.
You should just go there. He's already there in Maryland. You should go and there. Why are you talking about California and then lamenting?
No, what I'm saying
is, this is not there, that is not there. I'm saying you go there.
My son is not there in California. He moved already to Austin, Texas.
Yeah, we know that, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
Just congratulations to Vidyavali Mataji.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Yeah, Krishna wishes for
her.
Congratulations, Mataji.
Pray for me. I have remembrance. Pray for me. I have remembrance. Whatever Guru Maharaj will ask me.
He will not ask anything.
Worry is actually a prayer to make it happen. Keep worrying, he'll ask you.
Make it happen, yeah. It's a rare thing.
So why it's okay to be a fool in front of the spiritual master? What if you don't? What if you don't have the answer? It's okay.
No, that's the way he will answer the question.
Then he might think, why am I giving second initiation?
He won't think.
Huh?
He won't think like that.
We
just read this verse today, right? We just read in this verse today. You don't have to be a Jnani. He won't ask you to recite verses. He'll just ask you maybe for reflections. What you have been doing in the temple over there, if you're all here, right? He won't ask you other things. Okay, what is the Sanskrit for the 6 mystic opulences a person can get? He's not going to ask you things like that. Okay. He'll just ask you. He won't ask you any question. Okay. There's a Sunday feast lecture. There's an initiation ceremony, all starting from 10:30 and finishing at 2. So, and jam.
That's why we are going tomorrow afternoon. We'll stay night and start from that morning early. Good. By 9:30, you said we had to be there. So come there.
This is being broadcast on Facebook. I just wanted to let you know. And I'm not going to edit it.
So my daughter and myself both are taking this time. So there is another lady, I think 3. Who is that lady, Mataji?
You will find out day after.
Tomorrow.
Or come to my Sunday class.
Hare Krishna, I have to leave, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyascha
kripasindhabhyev cha
patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Premanande. Thank you, Mataji.
Sunday morning.